Om Shanti. Om Shanti. I have been given a very interesting topic to speak on: the depth of truth. What is truth? What is the definition of truth? Because this word is a very, very deep word. It has a very deep meaning. But very many people take it in a literal way. They'll say, I'm speaking the truth. So when they say I'm speaking the truth, it means whatever they saw, whatever they heard, whatever they felt, well, they just mentioned that in words and said, I spoke the truth. Because the literal meaning of the word truth is that whatever it is and however it is, to narrate that in the way it was seen or heard or experienced. To narrate that is to speak the truth. Because compared to truth, there's lies. People speak lies. They want to hide a truth. They will not say what really happened. Supposing someone stole something, and he will say, no, I didn't steal, and he did steal. So he spoke lies. So when somebody says something which is not the way it happened, that means he's hiding the truth. He's speaking lies. And then in order to hide that truth further, he has to speak so many lies. He has to prove that he did not steal. So first he will say, I did not steal. And then when asked, okay, where were you at that time? He'll say, I was in such and such place. And he wasn't there. He was actually in the place where he stole. So that will be another lie. And then he will be asked, what were you doing at that time? He'll speak a third lie. I was doing something. And he was not really doing that. So in order to hide one truth, someone has to speak so many lies. And then sometimes it does happen that that last lie which he spoke was in total contrast to the first lie. Because lies have no basis. Truth has a basis. And lies have no basis. And therefore one can manipulate, and ultimately the truth will definitely be revealed. So truth can be defined in this simple way. But then there's a very deep meaning of truth. God is called the truth. God is truth. God speaks the truth. God establishes the land of truth. So what does that truth mean? So truth taken at another aspect, it is the truth, but spiritually it can be a lie. Because supposing somebody asks me, what's your name? I'll say, my name is Shielu. It's the truth, that's what my name is. But spiritually speaking, my name is not Shielu, because I'm a soul. So the soul's name is not Shielu, is it? This is the body's name. So spiritually speaking, it's a lie. So if I say I am Shielu, I am speaking a lie. I am speaking untruth. Because I am the soul. So the truth would be, I am a soul, but my body's name is Shielu. Now this is the true part of it. So this is why many people, they say, I'm speaking the truth. But actually it's not the truth spiritually. So what is the meaning of truth? Spiritually, this word truth has a very deep meaning. Truth is that which is eternal. Something which is not truth keeps on changing. Like somebody speaks a lie, he'll have to keep on changing his statements. So truth is that which is never changing. Truth is that which is eternal. Truth is that which was never created. Truth is that which will never be destroyed. And therefore when we say God is truth, that means God is eternal, imperishable, immortal. He was never created and he will never die. That's called the truth. When people ask, who created God? So we can say, how can anybody create God? If somebody created God, then who created that one? The one who created God. Then who created that one? The one who created that one who created God, So, what is the answer? The answer isn't there because somebody may say, you don't know the answer, therefore you're saying that nobody created God. No. God is the truth. It means that which can never be created, can never be destroyed. Now, if we spiritually speak in this way, then we say, what is the truth? The Supreme Soul is the truth. Soul is the truth, because even the soul can never be created and destroyed. The soul existed even before the body was born. And the soul will continue to exist even after the body perishes. And therefore, I am that eternal, immortal, imperishable soul, and I am the truth. So soul is truth. And Supreme Soul is truth too, because nobody created God. God has always been there. He will always be there. Nobody has created soul, because soul was always there and will always be there. Now the third aspect is this nature, matter. And some philosophies do mention that this world is all untruth. Why it's called untruth? Because it's always changing. There's never a moment when there is no change. Change is inevitable. And because everything is changing and changing and changing, therefore it is called untruth. And they use the Sanskrit word mithya, jagat mithya. This world is all illusion. Brahma satyam. Brahma is the truth. Because they think Brahma is the eternal thing. And this world is all is untruth. So one aspect of truth is not there in nature. And that is, truth is that which is unchanging. But matter is always changing. But then truth has another definition, and that is never created and never going to be destroyed. So matter has that definition. Matter can neither be created nor can it be destroyed. It always was there, it will always remain there. but it only changes. But then ultimately it goes back to the same point. So eternity is proved, and that is why in matter, in nature, we say everything goes through a cycle. In a cycle, wherever you start from, you reach there, you reach at the same place. So in between the changes are there, but then you go back to the origin. That is a cycle. So one part of truth is very much in nature, that nature or matter can neither be created nor destroyed. But the other part of nature is that it can change its form from one to the other, but total sum remains the same. Now this also is part of truth. So we say three entities are truth, which were never created and can never be destroyed. Nobody created them. Nobody created God, nobody created soul, nobody created matter. But the difference between the three is that although matter is the truth, but then it's always changing. And therefore half of the definition of truth is there, but the other half is not there. This is why many people say this world is an illusion, because everything is changing. So what is the truth? I would like to share a story on this. What is the truth? Baba was speaking yesterday about King Janak. King Janak wanted to know the truth, Brahma Gyan, the true knowledge. And he said, I want Jivan Mukti in 1 second. The one who can give me Brahma Gyan in 1 second and thereby give me liberation in life. I want such a scholar. And then the story goes that how King Janak announced this in his kingdom. And big scholars came to give him Brahma Gyan, knowledge of philosophies, of scriptures. But he was not at all satisfied. He wanted the knowledge, the true knowledge, the Brahma Gyan in 1 second, which would enable him to get Jivan Mukti, liberation in life. Nobody could really satisfy him. And then they say that there was a young man, but a very ugly looking person, He had 8 curves in his body, very ugly. His body was very deformed, not in proper shape. And he entered the court of King Janak and announced that he will give Brahma Gyan in 1 second for King Janak to attain Jivan Mukti. And as he entered the court, all the big scholars and those sages and saints who were sitting in the court, who were there to give him Brahma Gyan, the king Brahma Gyan, they began to laugh at him, mock at him, or even started teasing him. Look at this fellow. He's so funny, so ugly, so shapeless. No shape of the body is proper. 8 curves he had in the whole body, and very funny looking person. And he's going to give Brahma Gyan. How can he give? Who is he? And immediately Ashtavakar, they say, he told the king that, who are these people in your court? They are all cobblers. Means the Shudra caste, the very low caste. And they were supposed to be Brahmins, Lokik Brahmins, saints and sages and scholars and learned people. Only Brahmins used to study a lot of these scriptures. And when he said they're all cobblers, means a very low person doing the lowest job, making shoes. And a cobbler always touches leather, leather. He makes leather shoes, and leather means skin of animals. So they're all cobblers sitting here. So all those scholars got very upset with him, very angry, and they started shouting, "How dare you call us cobblers?" And he went to the king and said, "O king, why I call them cobblers? Because they're looking at my skin, they're looking at my body. They're not looking at the soul. So they are looking at the skin, and cobblers are meant to see the skin all the time because they have to make shoes from a skin." And then he quieted everybody and he said, "Okay, give me Brahmagyan. What can you give me? What can you do?" So at that time he had nearly left the court and he was about to sit on his horse. One foot of his was on the saddle of the horse, and the other foot was on the floor, on the ground. And Ashtavakra asked him, the king, "Where are you? Where are you?" And he said, "I'm on the horse." But then Ashtavakra said, your one foot is also on the ground." He said, "Okay, one foot on the ground. So I'm on the horse as well as on the ground. And I'm on both and not on both. Neither on the horse nor on the ground. Because one foot was on the ground, the other on the horse saddle." Ashtavakra said, gave knowledge of Jivan Mukti in 1 second. This is what Brahmagyan is. Here and not here. Here in this world and not in the world. In life, but free from the sorrows of life. Free from the troubles of life. Free, but still in life. Here and not here. In the world, but not in the world. What Baba says, lotus-like life. A lotus grows in a muddy pond, but remains above the mud. And that is why only that portion which is above the muddy pond, above that is used for worship. Only that portion, not the whole stem or the leaves or the roots. Just the portion which is above the muddy pond. So this was Brahmagyan. And immediately King Janak realized, yes, this is the truth. And he made Ashtavakra his guru. You are my guru now, because guru, as Baba says, anybody can become anybody's guru. Any advisor can be called a guru. So then later on the story goes that how King Janak became so detached from his kingdom. Because I am in the kingdom, I am ruling, I am in my palace, I am enjoying this, but still in a second I can go beyond. I am here and I am not here. Detached in 1 second. This is called Jivan Mukti. Not attached to anything. So then the story goes that later on, one day, King Janak got a dream. And in that dream, he saw that another king from another kingdom attacked his kingdom. That time, kings used to attack different kingdoms and just grab those kingdoms. And they used to become the rulers and make the king of that kingdom captive and send him to prison and all that, or get him killed. That's what used to happen. So he saw in the dream that his neighboring kingdom king, his soldiers came and captured his kingdom, and he was caught and brought in front of that king whose soldiers captured his kingdom. And that king told King Janak, "Well, now you are a captive, you are no longer a king, you are like my slave. This kingdom is mine. What do you want me to do to you? How should I treat you? What should I do to you?" Now King Janak was already in that state, very detached. He was in the palace and still not attached to the palace, doing all his daily routine, daily course, but still he was always in that detached stage. So King Janak told that king, well, okay, if you have conquered my kingdom, fine, let it be your kingdom. I will just go into the forest and become a sannyasi. That's all. So that king said, okay, and he told one of his soldiers, take him on your horseback, take him into the forest, so that he doesn't come back into the kingdom, and I'm the ruler of this kingdom. So the king went on the horseback with that soldier, and as he was going towards the forest, he felt hungry. This is all in a dream, he's saying. And he told the soldier, can you give me some food to eat? I don't know when I'll be able to get food in the forest. So in the meantime, if you have something to spare. And that soldier felt sorry for him, pity on him, and he gave him his food. And he was about to put that morsel in his mouth. And he didn't put it, that morsel was just near his mouth, and at that time an eagle came from the skies and just, flew down and grabbed that morsel and hit his hand to grab that morsel. And at that moment, King Janak's eyes opened. He woke up from his sleep because he was dreaming. It was all in a dream. And when he woke up, he looked around. He said, my kingdom is intact. Nothing is lost. I'm not going to the forest. There's no eagle here, and I'm not even hungry. So what he's experienced was all a dream. And he woke up from that dream. So again the question came in his mind, what is the truth? What is the truth? That dream which I saw, which felt so real, was that the truth? Or is this what I'm seeing, this beautiful bedroom, my beautiful palace, all the gorgeous curtains, what a palace is so beautiful. So is this what I'm seeing around me, is that the truth? Or was that dream the truth? So what is the truth? Then again he called his guru, Ashtavakar. So Ashtavakar became his guru. And that guru, Ashtavakar told him, King Janak, neither the dream was the truth, nor what you see around is the truth. Both are not the truth. So he was amazed. Both are not the truth. Isn't this the truth? Or was that dream not the truth? Ashtavakar told him, no, both are untruth. Then he asked, okay, what is the truth? What is the truth? And very beautifully Ashtavakar told him, King Janak, the one who experienced both, the one who experienced the dream as well as the one who's experiencing all this, that one is the truth. That means the soul. The soul experienced the dream and the soul is experiencing this, so this is the truth. And Ashtavakar gave him the knowledge of the soul, that you are a soul. And if you are soul conscious, then you are experiencing the truth. But if you are body conscious, then you are experiencing false or untruth. And that awakened him again, that I'm a soul, and through that soul conscious state, he could live in that kingdom and still be detached. So he realized what the truth is. Now Baba gives us the beautiful knowledge of truth. Baba says all the three are the truth. Because there was never a time when matter wasn't there. There was never a time when soul wasn't there. There was never a time when the Supreme Soul wasn't there. So Supreme Soul, soul and matter, all three are eternal. And therefore all the three are truth. But then, how the three are different. Matter is always changing, but eternal, and therefore partly the truth and partly the untruth. And therefore don't be attached to anything what you see around you. because everything will change. It's not going to be the same. This will be understanding the truth. Make use of matter, make use of everything, experience everything from matter too, but in a second be able to go beyond, because you are not this matter, you are a soul. So understand yourself as a spiritual being. But then we understand the soul, that when the soul interacts with matter, spiritually the soul transforms. Baba says from Sato to Rajo to Tamo. Physically it won't. That is, if somebody, burns a living man, a living person, he just puts fire on him and his body begins to burn. But the soul which was in the body doesn't get burnt. It flies away. The body gets burnt and that person dies. And therefore we say soul can never be burnt, it can never be made dry, it can never be made wet, it can never be cut. So the physical things cannot affect the soul in a physical way, to dry the soul or wet the soul or cut the soul or burn the soul, because matter will do that. Whatever you put in fire, it will burn. Whatever you cut, it can get cut, but soul you cannot. You put water, it will become wet. You have dry air, then that thing will become dry, but the soul cannot. And therefore we say soul is eternal, death is nothing but change of costume. So the soul is the truth. And compared to that, matter is untruth because it is changing. The 5 elements mix in the 5 elements. But then again, the other part of truth is that the soul changes from golden to silver to copper to iron. Baba says the alloy mixes in that gold. And then through meditation, that alloy is removed, the fire of yoga, and the soul is purified once again. So soul remains the truth. And then for the Supreme Soul, we say God is truth, because God doesn't even change in that way as the soul changes from golden to silver to copper to iron. It doesn't. But the soul does, because it comes in the cycle. It interacts with matter. The Supreme Soul also comes in the body of Brahma, as Baba says, but then he's not influenced by the body of Brahma. Baba used to say, Brahma Baba had a lot of cough. He used to cough, and he had that little tumbler with him all the time, because Baba used to take out that cough also. The old man, so he used to cough, and then that cough he used to take out. And then Baba used to cough a lot, like Dadi Janki coughs a lot sometimes. And we used to feel, so sad, Baba is coughing so much. Must be that feeling of pain must be there in his chest. And Baba would smile and say, no child, don't child, this is only for the body. Shiv Baba is not affected. Shiv Baba is not affected. This one's karma. It is this soul's karma. Shiv Baba is beyond this karma. So children, don't worry. Like Dadi Janki says. Therefore, Dadi Janki very often says, I've taken this cough as inheritance from Brahma Baba. So because Baba was over 90 years, and then, you can imagine at that age, the lungs become weak and therefore the coughing comes. Well, so all the three are truth. And in a way, matter is not truth, soul is in that way not truth, and therefore the soul merges in the Supreme Soul. But soul doesn't merge in the Supreme Soul. Soul remains eternal. But yes, in meditation we merge. So people have confused everything, and that is why they are not able to understand the difference between soul and Supreme Soul. Now you see how this word truth is used in so many ways. And people understand truth in different ways. For example, how does science understand truth? What is truth for science? Scientists. Scientists will say, seeing is believing. Whatever you see, that is the truth. because you will believe only that. And therefore many scientists are atheists, they don't want to believe in God. Because if you can't see God, why should you believe in Him? You believe only in what you see. That is why there's a joke on this. No, it's like a joke. So an atheist professor tried to prove that God does not exist. So what happened was that he started writing on the board. Can you see this chalk? He said, yes. That means the chalk is the truth. Can you see the duster? Yes. That means duster is truth. Can you see this chair? Yes. Therefore the chair is the truth. Can you see this table? Yes. So all what you could see, that is called truth. And then the last question, can you see God? No. That means God is untruth. God doesn't exist. Then a young student, he came up and said, sir, I would like to add something. And he came up and told the professor, I want to say. So the professor said, okay, come, what do you like to share? And he thought probably he will support me. And he said, well, all the same things he repeated. Okay, it's the truth. Can you see our professor's brain? He said, no. Everybody said no. Because brain is right inside the skull, no? Even the skull you can't see. The brain, how can you see? You see only the head and the hair on top. You can't see the brain. So everybody said, no, we can't see the brain. That means? It means the brain is not there, no? Because you can't see. And therefore, actually, how can you give such an argument that supposing you can't see something and therefore it doesn't exist? In this world, there are so many things you can't see with these physical eyes. How can you say that because you can't see, therefore they don't exist? These physical eyes can see only physical things. And these physical things are of matter, of the 5 elements, which are always changing. And therefore what I am seeing is all untruth because it's always changing. But in a way it's truth. Now if you say this wall is untruth, it's all false. It is not there, and I go there and bang my head. No? The blood will ooze out, and some sannyasis say, even this is untruth, and banging of the head is also untruth. Blood oozing out is also untruth, all untruth. All untruth. But then untruth in the sense that this will all change, no? The blood will stop oozing after some time, this wall can be repaired after some time. So the change is always there, therefore it is called untruth. But you can't say that this wall doesn't exist and therefore and is untruth. It is very much the truth. So what exactly is the definition of truth? It's not that what you see, that you believe. On the contrary, in spirituality it is the opposite. Science will say that what you see, you believe, and that is the truth, and what you don't see, you don't believe. Because what you can see, what you can experiment with, all, make equations, that's all truth. And if you can't do all that, then it's untruth. Like somebody put up a question, how can you prove that God exists? Okay, prove me God in a laboratory. Now we say, how can you prove God in laboratory? Because in laboratory, when you prove things, you have an equation, A plus B equal to C. Okay? A plus B equal to C. 2H2 plus O2 equal to 2H2O. Okay, water. Hydrogen, 2 atoms and 1 atom of oxygen will give rise to water. Now you have an equation. Now you want to prove God. How can you prove God? Where will you place God, in A or B or C? Okay, if you want to prove that He's there, so you join A plus B to make C, which is God. That means, is it that God is not there and then A and B you add and then God appears? So how can you experiment and say that yes, I can create God by putting 2 things together and creating God? That thing what you created wasn't there before, and you put 2 things and then created the 3rd thing. But you can't do that with God. So people are totally so confused about God, the truth. And therefore what they have changed now, they have changed the statement. Truth is God. Instead of God is truth, they change it to truth is God, because whatever is truth is God. Now again, it makes no sense. What do you mean truth is God? What is truth? Even if that's not understood, how can God be understood? So on the contrary, spirituality speaks the opposite of science. Science will say what you see is all truth, and spirituality will say whatever you're seeing is all untruth. Because this is all changing. And therefore it's not the truth. And therefore Baba says, you have to go beyond. Like today's Murli also. Why Baba is saying that it becomes easy to lead a pure life? What faith you have? The faith that everything is going to change. So why have attachment towards it? And the future is very bright, and therefore purity alone will lead me to that bright future. And therefore one last birth, why can't we remain pure? For 63 births we have been impure. And this is a result of all that. And just one last birth, Baba is saying, see and don't say. Because whatever you're seeing around is always going to change very soon. Therefore, don't be attached to it. This helps us to keep a state of equanimity all the time, a very stable stage, a very balanced stage all the time. So, spirituality definition of truth is totally different from what people in the world talk about truth. Science will say all these physical things are the truth because you can experiment with them. And spirituality says you can't experiment with truth. Truth is truth. What about truth in politics? Politics is very funny and very strange. Why? Because in politics, especially in democracy, it is said the one who gets the maximum votes, he wins. Majority wins. Now, the one who got maximum votes, even if he's a thief, he is a murderer, he is a, anything, corrupt person, but because he has got the votes, and therefore he is the master. This is the truth, that yes, he is the master. But how did he become? Because he got the votes, so majority votes were on his side and therefore he won. However wrong things he may have done, however bad he may be, but majority wins. And that is why we say in today's world, untruth is reigning over the world. Baba speaks in the Murli about false body, false world, false Maya, everything false. So what exactly is Maya to? Maya means illusion. The real definition of Maya is illusion. Vikar, again, vikar means some weakness, some defect. A wall has a crack, and that crack is called vikar in Hindi. Vikar means a defect. So any type of vice is a defect, because the soul in its eternal form is very pure. So these defects are because of body consciousness. And as I overcome body consciousness, I can attain my perfect stage once again. It's a matter of awareness and forgetfulness. When I forget who I am, I become untruth. And the moment I become aware of who I am, I realize myself as a truth. That I am that eternal soul. So in politics, it is very funny, very limited definition of truth. That majority wins. In Hindi, there's a very beautiful phrase, jiski lathi usi ki bhains. There's a quarrel between two people, and one person says, this buffalo belongs to me. And the other one will say, no, this buffalo belongs to me. Now both are quarreling. Now to whom does that buffalo belong to? Who will decide? So the one who has a stick. Because with that stick, he will beat the other person, and the other person has no defense. And therefore the buffalo belongs to the one who has a stick. That is the definition of truth in politics. Right is might. Or might is right. Actually, it should be right is might. Righteousness leads to strength. Right is might. But in politics, might is right. The one who has more votes, more majority, that one is right. What about truth in judiciary, in the court? A person who has to make a promise to speak the truth, he stands in that, what do you call that box to say what happened. And they said before they used to touch the religious book of their religion. If he was a Muslim, he would touch the Quran. If he was a Christian, he would touch the Bible. If he was a Hindu, he would touch the Gita. And he would say at that time, I see God omnipresent everywhere, touching that spiritual, the religious book, and would say, I see God everywhere, and whatever I speak, I will speak the truth, nothing but the truth. Mama also had to face the court, and she went to the court, and the judge told her, put your hand on the Gita and say that I see God omnipresent and I will speak nothing but the truth. And immediately she said, I see you, I don't see God here, I see you. I will say that I see the judge present in front of me and I will speak only the truth. So what is in judiciary? That the truth is never spoken, only false things are spoken. The truth is miles and miles away. And therefore, Baba says, this world is a world of untruth. And now, Baba is creating that world of truth, in which everything will be truthful. Everything will be pure. Everything will be unadulterated, clean, true, unchanging. Because there the soul realizes itself. So this is what Baba wants us to become, like pure gold. And that is why Baba says, I am the truth, I speak the truth, I establish the world of truth. Okay? Om Shanti.